Yeah, delighted to have a special guest with us that you'll hear from in just a moment. And we're going to spend the bulk of the show looking at Corrie ten Boom's legacy and how that could be attributed to coffee. She was a Dutch lady who loved coffee, so they kind of go hand in hand. But we'll hear more about that later on. As always, there is so much news to kind of cover in our brief time together. And of course, we have the visit of Netanyahu. He has arrived, he has met, he has concluded meeting initially with Trump, as did Zelensky this morning. Zelensky was first, Netanyahu was second. It was Netanyahu's eighth visit, specifically with Trump since this second term began just a little over 2 years ago. So he is the most frequent international leader visiting the White House of all the leaders globally. So there's something very a relationship there that the media wants to say is strained, but I think there is always an element of smoke and mirrors that goes on in these processes as they seek to work together and collaborate. And of course, he is in attendance specifically for Lindsey Graham's funeral memorial service that is happening this afternoon at 2 o'clock. It'll be Eastern time, wouldn't it? So in just about an hour's time in DC, and there are dignitaries the world over. Lindsay was a vociferous supporter of Israel, and a very important player within the American establishment. Certainly over these past few years, his loss is profound on a number of levels, but he is with his Lord now, and we are grateful for that reality. So, well, what's been happening? Well, the Americans have been dealing with Iran. There's currently a lull, which has resulted in the price of crude oil going down to briefly below $90 a barrel, which is something that Westerners are very, very happy about. That price seems to fluctuate depending on what's happening. And the Strait of Hormuz is seemingly operating as, again, the media portrays it operating well. But there are a couple of things that are interesting that are going on that if you're not following closely, you may not be aware of. The Saudis and the Houthis are going at each other, which is quite a fascinating juxtaposition. And then you also have the Turkey rearing its head again and trying to establish a greater influence over everything that's going on. They requested F-35s. Provisionally, those F-35s have been denied, and that in and of itself is an interesting process because again we have to understand the Sunni Shia divide. Both the Sunnis and the Shias both want a caliphate governed by themselves, and Turkey is the leader of one of those, and Iran, of course, is the leader of the other. So you see this power play taking place. In addition to that, and referring back to Netanyahu and Trump, one of the things that Trump insisted upon was there had to be evidence that there had been something that had moved forward. And one of the things that has been proposed and moved forward, which was the things that Netanyahu came to present to Trump, was that the peace team being placed in Gaza has moved forward, even though the prerequisite for that peace team being put in place was actually Hamas disarming. The team that it consists of Moroccans and Ugandans is the latest people that are being verbalized as being those who are going to be part of that peacekeeping corps within Gaza. That's not a job that I would want personally. I don't know about you, but I would not want to enter into the fray where you are trying to keep Hamas from doing what Hamas does, and in that kind of territory. But yeah, that is one of the pieces of the puzzle that we see. There is always more. Let's see where else we can go in our around the world in 30 seconds. Well, the new Prime Minister, the seventh in 10 years in the UK, is now in position, and is it going to be more of the same, or is it going to be worse based with regard to Israel in particular? Well, Burnham's not necessarily the most positively disposed towards Israel, shall we say. And so the Labour Party, of course, has held its position, and 7 prime ministers in 10 years is a pretty shocking record for any country. Well, at least they do have a turnover of leaders, which is unlike what the Palestinian Authority has, where Mahmoud Abbas has been in power for decade after decade after decade. And there is an internal power struggle going on there as well. How long is he going to be at the helm before that is happening? And the play out of that takes place in the West Bank, so-called biblically known as Judea and Samaria. And so there's a lot of things that are moving, a lot of balls up in the air, and we need to be doing what the scriptures tell us to do, which is to watch and to pray, and effectively be looking and aware of what is going on. And it takes us to our scripture of the week, which we really want to draw your attention to, which is found in Psalm 27, verse 7 through 14, where it says, "Hear my voice when I call, Lord, be merciful to me and answer me. My heart says of you, seek his face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been my helper. Do not reject me or forsake me. God, my Savior, though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me in a straight path because of my oppressors. Do not turn me over to the desire of my foes, for false witnesses rise up against me, spouting malicious accusations. I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart." And we want to encourage you with a good news story out of the Middle East as well, because out of Israel specifically, because there's been a rescue story of a young boy that is actually quite an encouragement. I'm just getting it up. Here we go. So this young boy who went missing actually was recovered, and it's a beautiful story of what is the joy when something that is lost is found, and we know that principle from the scriptures. Well, this is a beautiful story for us to share with you.
היום הזה יסתיים אחרת מכל הערכות בנס גדול. קח עוד מים. אחרי 27 שעות של חיפושים, יובל קוגן בן הארבע שנעדר באזור חוף אשקלון, הותר היום אחר הצהריים בידי רוכבי סוסים שעברו במקום וגילו אותו במחסה מתחת לעץ.
הילד עמד פה מתחת לעץ, הסתכל עלינו, תודה להשם יתברך.
הפעוט שרד יומיים של עומס חום כבד, והערכות היו לסכנה מיידית לחייו. הוא נמצא עייף וצמא, אבל הכי חשוב, בריא ושלם.
יש לך פה פידיורית? אמא מחכה לך?
מה שהצלחתי לשוחח עם הילד, הוא התחיל ללכת לכיוון שהוא חשב שזה הבית שלו. באיזשהו שלב, בשעות הלילה הוא כנראה נרדם תחת אחד העצים, התעורר בבוקר. לשמחתנו הוא ילד אינטליגנט וחכם, נשאר במקום מוקצל, וזה למעשה מה שהציל אותו.
זה בהחלט יכול להיות מוגדר כנס. הילד בן הארבע שהקפיץ מדינה שלמה נמצא בשטח אש של בסיס ניצנים, כ5 קילומטר מהמקום שבו נעלם בחוף באשקלון. לשם הגיע עם אביו ואחיותיו אתמול בצהריים. זה התיעוד האחרון של יובל לפני שנעלם. כאן עם אביו ואחיותיו נקלט במצלמות האבטחה בחוף הצפוני של אשקלון.
בבקשה, זה החיים על הילד שלי. יש לי מים. לא רוצה לשתות, אני רוצה שיעזרו לי למצוא את הבן. אני רוצה שיעשו הכל כדי למצוא את הבן שלי.
במהלך היממה האחרונה מתנדבים רבים מהיחידה לאיתור נעדרים של זק"א, משטרת ישראל ומאות ישראלים שהתגייסו והגיעו מכל הארץ וחיפשו אחר הילד בעומס חום של כ-40 מעלות.
שמי מפקד המחוז? זאת אומרת, מי הצוות שמגיע ראשון? מדליקים את הפרוז'קטורים, מפקד התחנה, מפקד המרחב ומפקד המחוז. מהר מאוד מבינים שפה הנעדר ברמת סיכון מאוד מאוד גדולה.
כאן נראה מסוק צבאי עומד מעל המיקום שבו נמצא יובל, ושיירה של מאות כלי רכב של המחפשים, ורבים שמחפשים מתחת על הגבעות. בשעות מורטות עצבים ובחרדה גדולה, לפני שנמצא, ההורים חשבו שמדובר בחטיפה.
אני חושבת שמישהו שמבוגר העלים אותו מפה. אני חושבת שהוא נחטף.
ואז הגיע הרגע שכל המדינה חיכתה לו. יובל חוזר לזרועותיה של אמא.
הטלפון היה בזמן נסיעה של ניסיונות איתור באיזה בית נטוש, התפרקתי מכל הלב כמובן. בהתחלה חשבתי שזה תמונת AI, סרטון AI, באמת לא האמנתי, אבל אז התקשרו ואמרו שזה הכל אמיתי, ויובל בסדר.
פגשת אותו?
כן, פגשתי אותו.
מה המשפט הראשון שהוא אומר?
הוא ביקש להגיד לי משהו בסוד, ואז הוא אמר לי, אבא, למה לא אספת אותי?
איך הגבת לדבר כזה?
אין לי מה לומר, הוא צודק.
עם היוודע המציאה עלו קריאות וצפירות שמחה בכל העיר אשקלון. המחפשים התפזרו, וזוג הורים וילדם חבוקים, זו התמונה שייסעו איתם ישראלים רבים לתוך השבת.
Of course, the story of being lost and found has a lot of there's a lot of attribution of that in the scriptures that we find of people that were lost and have been found. And so what a tremendous joy to see that kind of recovery. It could have ended very differently. And we are grateful that that child was returned to his family.
We wanted to remind you of the new program that EMUNAH has where you can sponsor a child in Israel. It's that time of year in Israel that many children are going to summer camps, and EMUNAH tries to make it possible for the approximately 800 children that live in their residential homes to be able to go to camps, to enjoy nature, to have some fun, to participate in other therapeutic activities. And that's just one of the things that you're helping to facilitate, to make possible when you sponsor a child through EMUNAH's Guardian Angel program. Stephen's going to make sure the link to that gets in the chat. And here in Tennessee, it's the time of year where schools are going to start back up in the next week or two. And we are thinking about school supplies for our kids and that kind of things. And that's another thing that EMUNAH is preparing. If you can imagine how expensive it is to get school supplies for 2 children, and then times that by 400, it's definitely something that we can show our love and support for the most vulnerable children in Israel in a really practical way. So you can visit emunahisrael.org. You can donate there a one-off gift or a monthly gift, or you can become for $40 a month. You can sponsor an individual child. We just got another letter from the child that we sponsor, Ronit. There is a group of students from New York that are visiting, that are putting on some day camps at Achodat Sarah, the children's home where Ronit lives. And she was saying how much fun that they're having and how she's enjoying the summer. So it's fun to hear from her and to see some pictures and get a little glimpse into life at one of the amazing EMUNAH residential homes. So definitely check that out. And we want to switch gears here a little bit to talk about one of my heroes, Corrie ten Boom. And we have a video clip that is from Hananya Naftali, where he is actually visiting Corrie ten Boom's home, and he shows us around. I've never actually had the privilege of visiting her home. I believe Stephen has. Probably many of you have if you're over there in the UK or Europe. Just fascinating to see where she lived out these heroic, small but big choices that she made that resulted in rescuing so many Jewish people that live there in Holland. So let's watch this clip. It's just a couple minutes, and then we're going to introduce our very special guest and continue the conversation about Corrie.
I'm here at the house of Corrie ten Boom in Harlem, and I want to tell you a story of how Christians saved Jews during World War II, during the Holocaust. Right in Harlem, the ten Boom family's watch shop was more than a business. It was a front for a fierce resistance against the Nazi tyranny. Corrie ten Boom, a force of nature, turned her family home into a sanctuary for those hunted by the Gestapo, which was 100 meters from their house. Picture this, a room so tiny that could almost make you feel claustrophobic, but it was a room that determined the fate of hundreds. I want to show you this room. You can see the hiding place. This was the space that determined fate of Jewish people during the Holocaust, during World War II. It was the wall behind Corrie ten Boom's bedroom. And the crazy part is that when the Gestapo knocked at the door to search or if they wanted to find out if there are Jews here. So they would ring the bell. The people here, they had 70 seconds to run from the house and go and hide inside this space. Let me show you how you actually get in there. For people who are more older than me, even for me it was a little bit challenging, but just imagine that you're having 70 seconds to run and save your life. By helping the Jews, the Ten Booms, of course, risked their lives. The fate of helping a Jew that time was death. You help a Jew, you die as a Jew. But not all heroes wear capes, and not all stories have the best, perfect ending. And unfortunately, in 1944, the Nazis found out about this whole operation, the hiding place. A Dutch person tipped off the Nazis and they came and they made arrests. Corrie's father, brother, sister, and nephew all paid the ultimate price for saving Jews. Corrie and her sister Betsy ended up in the Ravensbrück camp, yet even surrounded by death, they didn't let the light of hope flicker out. They held secret Bible sessions, whispering verses of faith over the cries of despair. Betsy, even as her body failed her in that horrific nightmare, she never let go of her hope and a dream for a post-war home for healing and renewal. Her last words to Corrie were a lifeline. She said, "There is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still." Corrie traveled the globe not just to tell her story, which is remarkable as you can see, but she traveled to preach about forgiveness. Shockingly, even extending a hand of forgiveness to the very guards who tormented them in that Nazi camp. He brings his love, and it's bigger than all the hate, Corrie declared, proving that real power lies in forgiveness, not vengeance. Corrie ten Boom is a hero not just of her time, but of all time, because she preaches a story of forgiving the unforgivable. And this is a story of Christians that helped save Jews during the Holocaust. Thank you for watching. Share this video.
I'm so pleased that we have joining us today David Peters. He's the founder of Ten Boom Coffee, a purpose-driven coffee company built on a legacy of faith, courage, and redemptive impact, inspired by the life of Corrie ten Boom, who risked everything to shelter Jewish families during World War II. David set out to create more than just a great cup of coffee. He envisioned a company where every cup tells a story of hope. Launched in 2023 on Corrie ten Boom's birthday, Ten Boom Coffee exists to brew goodness one cup at a time, combining specialty grade, organically grown coffee with a mission to uplift lives through partnerships that dramatically increase farmers' incomes and a commitment to donate 10% of every sale to life-protecting initiatives. The company reflects the same values Corrie lived out: faith in action, sacrificial generosity, and unwavering courage. Thank you so much for joining us today, David.
It's good to be here. Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah. It's good to see you again, David. Thank you. David and I, we all kind of bumped into each other back a few months ago at NRB, but we're aware of Ten Boom Coffee, and it brings two things, two passions of mine together, coffee and Corrie ten Boom, as Melissa said, is a tremendous example of what it is to be righteous among the nations in the season. I'm sure we'll hear more of that. But Ten Boom Coffee, which is the name of David's coffee company, is tied to the legacy of Corrie ten Boom. And we want to hear how that happened, David. How did you connect coffee, the great stuff that the Dutch love, to being part of your story too?
Yeah, man. Even just watching that video just there, it just shows me even more that the Lord really called us into this for a reason and for this time. I mean, we really need more Ten Booms, and I feel that to my core. And for me, my journey started really back in 2020, 2021. I was at a place of just praying, asking God just for direction. I wanted to connect business with missions in Israel somehow. And I was just in the process of that. And during that time, the Lord just gave me this vision of first a cafe in Jerusalem where Jews and Christians and Arabs can come together and just have intentional gospel conversations, and knew right away we needed to share the Tim Boom story in that for several reasons. First off, again, that story's so needed in today. It's a story of love, truth, forgiveness. It's truly is the heart of the gospel and what Jesus reflected to us. Um, but also there was a personal connection with Corrie as well within our family. And so she spent her time in the latter half of her life traveling all over the US, all over the world, really. She visited 63 countries, traveling, sharing her story and, sharing her message of forgiveness. And part of that time, she became very close family friends with our family. Um, and she was the last surviving Tin Boom. She had her nephew Peter von Morden that survived, and there's a lineage there. But really, she just adopted our family, and we adopted her. And she became grandmother Corrie to us, to me and my wife, and all the other great grandkids. And when she passed, she ended up passing down a lot of her things to our family as well. I wish I had it with me here. I don't. My father-in-law has it, but there's a quick fun story of one day my father-in-law got this package in the mail, and it was this watch. And at first he didn't really know what it was until he took it to his local watch shop, and they looked at it and was like, "This is the most incredible watch I've ever seen. Every piece on here is handcrafted, hand painted. It's just incredible." And in that moment, he realized where it came from, and it was Papa Tim Boom's watch that was passed down to the family. And so for us, when the Lord really gave me the vision of the coffee, um, we knew instantly we need to share this story. We feel so charged to continue that legacy, to share that story, but really continue it forward in our world today. And so we launched in April 2023 on Corey's birthday, which was unintentional. That was another hand of God moment of we had delays and coffee and all sorts of things. We picked a random Saturday in April. Later realized it was Corey's birthday, so that was really special for us. We'll forever get to carry that on, um, and it's just been amazing what God's done since. And it's crazy to see where the world has gone since April 2023, and it's just further causes me to dig my heels in what the Lord has called us to do and to be in our day and age, is to inspire a new generation of tin booms.
Well, your story, yeah, your story is more than coffee, isn't it? So part of the mission of Ten Boom Coffee. Tell us a little bit about that, what you've done to date, what you are hoping to do, and what the current project is, which I know has a tie to India as well, and everything with the brick kilns. So tell us a bit of that purpose of Ten Boom Coffee. It's not just because Corrie loved a good cup of coffee, as all Dutch do. And if you've never been to the Netherlands, you don't have business without coffee. It just is, it's synonymous. It's one of those things where they will have, like the old saying of the Diet Coke break in the UK, coffee was the reality of how the Dutch operated. So what is it that Ten Boom Coffee has as a bigger part of their vision?
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many pieces that the Lord has brought together. But yeah, so Corey did have she called it her 10 a.m. Coffee. So every single day at 10 o'clock, she would sit down with friends and loved ones, people she was traveling with, and just have intentional conversations with each other. So coffee in itself is already a connector. It's a great vessel. And so we want to create moments like that. But beyond that, and this is digging a little more into our story and what the Lord really brought, is we directly invest in work in the farm level. And so early on in our journey, we were praying and searching where we want to source our coffee from. And uh, long story short, God miraculously connected us with this man named Hanan, who lives in the Ela Valley in Israel. And he started sharing with me what they were doing and implementing these drip irrigation and fertilization systems and these smaller impoverished family farms around the world, and drastically increasing their harvest, changing their lives. We've seen the incomes of the farmers we've worked with increase 900%, $300 a month to $3,000 a month. And Hanan was just telling me about this, and I was just sitting here blown away. And I was like, there's something here. Like I wanna work with this man. And we were looking to source our coffee, and So I shared him our heart, our story, our vision, everything about Tim Boom, and he just stops me right there and he's like, David, I want to offer you anything and everything. And so it started our relationship where all of our coffee, every single bean is being imported from the farms that we're doing this work at, drastically changing the economics of these areas. And then beyond that, as a company, we want to have a tangible difference. You know, of course, we're sharing the story and we're promoting that and putting out advertisements, and we've even gone on college campuses to share the Tim Boom story with the next generation. But as a company, we also donate 10% of every single sale to projects that protect and uplift life. Otherwise, projects that Corrie and the Tim Booms would have supported as well. And so when we first launched, and October 7th happened, there was a lot of great needs in Israel. And so we were able to raise and donate money to help build bomb shelters along the borders, the southern borders of Israel, and which was amazing to get to do that. And then we've supported some other missions organizations that have done work in Israel and Egypt. And then our current initiative is we're helping rescue and free slaves out of Pakistan. And so you have these families that are stuck in these brick kilns, making literally pennies every day. And it's just a form of modern day slavery. And literally just for $1,000, we can buy these slaves out of these brick kilns, give them financial literacy, and put them on a better path forward. And literally an entire family of up to four. And for us, it was just this was like a no-brainer. Like we want to come and we want to see the slaves free. And $1,000 is so minimum to us here in the States. And we can literally free an entire family. And so we started that project just a couple months ago, and we've been able to already raise enough to we're on track probably 8 families total, close to it, which is amazing. And it's again, it's just all using coffee for the kingdom, for a bigger purpose. It's we all drink in our daily life. It's all amazing coffee. We can get into that later. I can geek out over the coffee for sure. But really, it's like let's use this incredible vessel to be a light, to be the kingdom, and to be a Tim Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what is, I mean, you've already highlighted that your mission is about cultivating redemptive goodness and the process of that. What does that look like though, practically in everyday terms? Not merely on the kind of the missions field and the kind of these specific projects that you have. I mean, just to give our viewers an opportunity to be aware that Temum Coffee and EMUNAH have come together as well. And there is actually an affiliate link on, and I'm going to put it in the chat, which gives you a if you buy your coffee from them, then there is a donation that goes to the EMUNAH homes. And so just want to kind of point you to that, encourage you, if you drink coffee anyway, why not bless EMUNAH and Temboom coffee at the same time and enable good Dutch coffee to be drunk rather than as we call the patron saint of America, St. Arbuck's, which is not the greatest coffee. It's burnt coffee in our estimation. And let's geek a little bit, David. Tell us what makes a good cup of coffee to David Peters.
What makes a good cup of coffee to me? Oh man, I want it to be just a good clean cup. If you've heard the term specialty, it's got to be these more. I like a more unique coffee that has a lot of unique flavors, not added flavors by any means, but rather the flavors that come just from the soil and growing the coffee. Just God's natural gift to this bean. And so I like a lot of Ethiopian coffees, which we have a very large agricultural project in Ethiopia, where you just get a lot of these hints of blueberries and strawberries within the cup. And so I can go all over. We always say here, it's like it's ultimately what you like, right? I can tell you you're drinking your coffee wrong, but really it's how do you like your coffee, and that's what's best. And so I like a good pour over or a nice little cortado.
So yeah, and how did Corrie take her coffee? Let's get back to
She
Corrie.
just Yeah, she would just take it black. So the coffee we're dealing with is more like specialty coffee. So it's this great appreciation and it's grown in the across the world as a whole, especially from the times of Corey's. Um, and so she would just drink any coffee, as I'm sure a lot of people just give me any kind of coffee just to sit down with people and give me the caffeine and get going in the day. You know, today we have a lot more special, unique, different coffees and flavors and bean. We got a lot more to play with than what she had.
And her life was really marked by courage under pressure. You talked about her 10 a.m. coffee. We saw a little bit of Hananya telling the story of the watch shop and everything else. But give us some of the stories of her journey for those that don't know her journey. Her home turned into a refuge, and then of course there was other challenges that her family faced. Tell us some of those stories that really have shaped your vision in what you are doing with Ten Boom Coffee.
Mm, that's a great question. The one that comes to mind. So Corey would live with our family down in Destin, Florida. And in that part of the area, you get hurricanes, right? And there's this story of she was down there with our Mama Fran and our Papa Mike, and there was this big old hurricane coming through, and she literally just Corey would sit there, not afraid at all, and we're like, we're gonna pray this, we're gonna pray that this hurricane will pass us and totally avoid it. And it was just like this rock. I just envisioned like a Moses moment of like you're just there praying and then it's like the ocean just divides around you. And that's essentially what happened. The hurricane totally missed them down in Florida. And to me, you know, she was called a tramp for the Lord. She was a very like strong and powerful woman that I look up to so much. But also, she was a very like real and honest. She would express her struggles or her frustrations, and I think that's a beautiful thing. She never hid any of that, so you always knew with Corey, this is Corey, and everything she was reflecting was just authentic and real. Um, and that's what I love most about her. And there's so many moments I'll read writings or hear stories, and I see myself or a lot, and just like, wow, I really relate to that. Um,
And
yeah.
forgiveness was also a key component to her story, wasn't it? Can you tell us about some of the times that she had to forgive people for what they had done to her and to her family? Are there any stories that resonate particularly with you of forgiveness?
Yeah, I mean, I think the it's a story that a lot of people know. And so for me, the past couple years, I've been praying personally. Like, God, I really want to know the gospel. I want to know it at a very deep, deep level in my heart. Um, and post October 7th, me and my wife were invited to travel to Israel in January, right after. And we were staying in Kfar Aza, which is one of the kibbutzes where there were lots of attacks. And mind you, our business partner Hanan was the first responder to Kfar Aza that day. He got there before the IDF. And so here we were walking through this kibbutz. I see bullet holes all over. And I'm just imagining my friend, my business partner here fighting, protecting his families. And then you get to the end of the kibbutz and you just hear just the atrocity that happened. And you're looking into Gaza and you see the smoke and you hear the shelling and your heart just breaks. Like, God, how do I wrestle with this? Like, what is your response to this? Because I know there's suffering, but also this is pure evil what happened here. And the only thing that gave me hope and what kept coming to mind is the gospel. The gospel tells us that evil will be judged and condemned. So there, for I, the victim, I know there's justice. I know God will bring justice. But also there's hope for those who repent and turn from evil. Like that's the greatest hope and message for the entire world. And I was sitting there reflecting, and I'm like, that's the life of Corey. That is ultimately the Tim Boom story. They stood up against evil. They stood in truth and in righteousness. They stood with the Jewish people. They stood against Nazi Germany. She didn't back down from that. Like she was strong. But also when she was approached by the Nazi officer that had encamped and killed her family, and he asked for forgiveness, she chose to forgive that man. And so that life and that story, again, why I believe to the core of my bones is so needed in our world today, because it's the greatest hope and message there is. It tells that evil will be judged and condemned, but also there's life to those who repent and turn from it. And so, to me, it's such an incredible, powerful story for those who want to get into conspiracy theories or whatever you want to get with all the clout around Israel. Is like you can't deny that story. And we've taken that story to college campuses, and it's been incredible to see young adults respond to it and how it can penetrate their hearts.
So what does Corrie ten Boom look like today? How does that marry with, obviously she was the abject evil that was in front of her was the Nazis and the death camps, the concentration camps, everything else. The society was um, painting on shops, Judenrein, Jew free. How is that being expressed today, and how do we stand up to that in 2026?
Yeah, if you ask me, it will be speaking for truth, and not necessarily always in the loud and obnoxious way. I think so. For me, I've chosen to uh, let's stay on the topic of Israel and people hating on Jewish families right now and hating on Israel. I have friends who are posting things online and like falling into all these things, and it breaks my heart. And I could easily just come at them out of my own frustration, my own anger, rightfully so. Or I can be like, hey, come down to our facility. Let's have a cup of coffee and let's talk about it. Well, let's be human. Let's have human dignity here to talk and get to the core of this and speak truth. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's a key word we've been focusing on here within our team is dignity, is seeing each other in the image of God, because in our modern day society and culture, we can so easily get fed into the gaslighting, into demonizing people, to all that. When it's like, okay, if you really believe in your Bible, like Christ died for this person, Corey forgave a Nazi officer that killed and encamped her family and put her through so much hell. If she can do that, then I think the least I can do is invite someone for a cup of coffee and then just be kind and loving to them. And what's so fascinating is when you do that, the truth penetrates quicker.
Yeah.
And that to me is it's the harder route. And so I find myself praying for more people to operate that way, because it's so easy just to jump online and film a minute video yelling and screaming at the other side. Um, and but if you choose to be intentional and build meaningful relationships with people, that's really where it cuts deep. And for me, that's a route that I've chosen, and that's what I believe. And so that's why even like we believe coffee is such a great vessel. Hey, you can have this really great cup of coffee. We're doing all these amazing things with our company, but ultimately we want you to build that table in your own home with someone. And we just want to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's Psalm 34. I think it's Psalm 34, verse 8 says, taste and see the Lord is good. And, it's so fascinating that the Bible would tell us that actually we can have an engagement through the flavor receptors on our tongue and in our mouth that actually points to the fact that the Lord is good. And coffee is one opportunity for that. And Agro Cafe, and just we've got a few minutes left. I want to kind of touch on the fact that here you are, David, as a Gentile, working in business with Hanan, who's a Jew, and Agro Cafe. How did that happen, and how did you see God at work in that relationship?
Oh man, I'm blown away by it every day. I really am. He was just here for 6 weeks. He actually just left this past Friday, so we've had lots of amazing time together, racing go-karts and playing games, drinking lots of coffee. I mean, we had just a lot of fun and good memories together. I say really it was the Lord how what that brought it together genuinely. I had a friend who was traveling in Israel, and he met Hanan roasting coffee in a gas station. It was early in Hanan's journey, and he's like, "This was the best coffee I ever had," and especially in Israel. Not to offend anyone, but Israel's not known to have the best coffee when it comes to the world standards. They're coming up. It's getting better over time. Um, and so my friend was like, "This was the best coffee I've ever had, for sure, within Israel." And he's like, "You should just connect with this man. He was a really nice man, has a great story." Um, and so that's what I jumped on a call thinking that. I almost didn't jump on it because I was like, it's probably just another guy who does coffee. I'm sure everyone can think of 100 different coffee shops or people they know in coffee. It's very saturated market. And so that's what I was expecting to jump on the call, and of course it was not that way. I was just absolutely blown away, and um, whether I call it the Holy Spirit or a God tug, I don't know. But when I was sharing the story of the Tim Boom family and our vision and our heart here, Hanan just looks at me. He's like, "I feel this in my heart right now, and I want to offer you anything and everything." And so there's just been this draw towards each other where I feel like it really is the Lord to work together and to share the Tim Boom story and the legacy to help these small family farmers, which Corrie would have wanted to do, and to ultimately just be a light to the nations. Um, and so it's such a great honor, and it's very humbling to me. I look back and I was just talking with one of my team members today of like sometimes you just got to look and just be so grateful for where God has placed you, and how I did it because to me it doesn't make any sense. I didn't even like coffee 10 years ago. Um, and here I've been and I roast hundreds of pounds of coffee every day. And so it's been a crazy journey, but that's what happens when you just say yes and just follow the Lord every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much, David. We really appreciate you sharing your really inspiring story and a bit of Corey's story as well. Stephen's got the links in the chat to Ten Boom Coffee. The link there is actually EMUNAH's specific affiliate link. So if you live in the US, is this only for US purchase at this moment?
Yes, unfortunately, only at this moment, only in the US, but we're looking to grow beyond that here soon.
Okay, well, I know we have a lot of British listeners and some Canadian listeners, so look forward to the development of that. But maybe you have a friend or family member that lives in the US and you could bless them with some coffee. Stephen and I have tried the Ten Boom coffee. It's delicious. Our favorite is the Casper, which I believe is named after Corey's father. Is that right?
It
Yeah.
is, yep.
And there's another one called the Zion. They all have really interesting and inspiring names as well. So definitely check that out. Visit his website. You can see the different projects that they're doing at this moment now. And a date in the calendar that you all can jot down. We're looking at the last Tuesday in August that we're going to be back here together for our next live webinar. And we're planning to do another Hebrew day. We're going to look at some new Hebrew words that we haven't studied before on the Christian Friends of EMUNAH webinar. So definitely join us for that, a free Hebrew lesson. I pray it will be encouraging and inspiring for everybody. And thank you again, David, for sharing your story. Appreciate you all. And toda rabah, shalom. And if you haven't signed up for EMUNAH's YouTube channel, please do that. I think Stephen has the link in the chat as well. If you search on YouTube for EMUNAH Angels of Israel YouTube channel, there's lots of new content going up there. We're going to get this conversation that we've had today up on YouTube soon, so you can share it with friends or family. And toda rabah. Shalom.